Welcome to Taste Buds. I'm Debra Eckerling, goal strategist, writer, and foodie. And today I'm speaking with author, screenwriter, and cartoonist Alan Silberberg, who writes picture books featuring Jewish food. And
Yep.
his latest is The Bagel Who Wanted Everything. I mean, really? What is it
Oh,
like to be in your head?
I was just talking about that. It's like going up a really beautiful hill that sometimes you trip and then fall very fast into a big splashy pool of chicken soup. It's everywhere for me. I'm up, down, making things up. I'm always doodling in my little sketchbook and coming up with characters. It's kind of a fun life.
And so you do like all of the creative things.
Every single one, Dad.
Every single one of them.
I I'm lucky in that I was one of those kids who was always doodling and I never considered myself an illustrator. But once I started writing, um, it was my agent actually who pushed me to put my cartooning in with my writing. So that's where that began.
Okay, so can you give us like the short version of how you became you?
Sure. I became me by starting off in kids TV. I worked for Nickelodeon and Disney and I created and wrote shows for them. And I got married and had a kid, and we raised our child with books and read to him every night, and I loved it. I loved especially when we got to chapter books, and he was just enwrapped to get to the end of a chapter, and then I'd close the book, and I realized I would love to write a chapter book for him, but for the age group. So my first 3 books were chapter books, and, um, I loved it. And I was lucky to get 3 books. The first was Pond Scum, the second was Milo, Sticky Notes and Brain Freeze, and the third one was The Awesome 100% True Adventures of Matt and Kraz. And I loved it, but then I couldn't sell enough. Like, it's hard, it's hard to keep the ball rolling, and I went back to doing TV for a while and decided that I hated it. I hated doing TV and was working just on things that made me feel bad, and I took a chance and said, on the advice of my agent, to try to write a picture book based on a silly cartoon Hanukkah greeting that I make and little animation that I would send out every year about a Latke family. So that became my first book.
That is so cool. So you basically reverted back to the thing that you love, not realizing that the thing that you love is something that you could do that would entertain so many people.
I had no idea. It really is it's a blessing. It was really a blessing for me because I got into it because I wanted to make something silly for Hanukkah. I didn't see a career for this. Even though I was a published author, I didn't see picture books as, my pathway, but it was so well received as being both a traditional Hanukkah story, but really out there and silly and really fun to read aloud. And it was so joyful that I both connected to some of my Judaism, which I'm Jewish, so it was a connection to that, but it was more a connection to a side of myself that I hadn't married. I hadn't married the humor and the drawings, and that became something I kept working to do.
Well, you did use food.
I I have to use food. I can't draw people, so I'll draw food. It's a lot easier. No, that was a joke. It's not. I mean, it's certainly more fun to make anthropomorphic characters come alive. So drawing, I have my P is for pastrami T-shirt on. Drawing a whole alphabet book of Jewish food cartoons is more fun than just doing people things. And drawing a Latke family and a kid piece of matzah that gets bullied at school. These are the things that I had a lot more fun drawing.
Got it. And why wouldn't you incorporate food? Right?
Well, it's a gateway to every kid. It's a gateway to every family. And There aren't enough good, funny stories about food, especially Jewish food. I think I have a niche. I have the Jewish funny food niche.
I love it. What lean in. Well, you are. Clearly, right. Well, it's also a gateway to conversation with adults too.
Well, it's like a muscle memory for your tummy. Like when I think back to like certain foods that my Aunt Evelyn would make, she was a caterer at one point, and she was like post-depression kid. So she like any business she could get her hands in, and she got into catering. And oh, she made this ice cream cake for the holidays, and she would make a pot roast and rugelach, and just I think back to those times, and it's a muscle memory.
And it's a holiday time. I mean, let's admit, food is pretty much always on our mind anyway, but I feel like this time of year, we're especially leaning into those favorites.
Well, I look forward to apples and honey every year. And again, it's that Jewish thing. It's like ritual that doesn't have maybe the same meaning to other people, but it's something that we do every year, and that means a lot to me.
Well, aren't we lucky we get to start the new year twice?
Yes, and I like the concept of starting over every year, and it's so big. Jewish New Year, such a Torah done, Torah start. Like it's a it's a nice moment to like let go and start again.
It's a nice ritual, one with which we eat lots of amazing food. Do you cook?
Um, Look, my recipes are pretty simple. I make a great someone's sick in the house chicken soup. Um, I do make really good latkes. Um, I make good pasta. It's like I don't have a recipe vocabulary, but I can throw things together and make something tasty.
Well, isn't that what cooking is?
Well, I think it is, but other people would like answer that with, teaspoon amounts and, like measuring cups. And I just kind of make things.
Well, so the latkes, I believe, like your favorite that you like to make. So it's no wonder that you started your um children's book
Yes.
career with your family of latkes.
Well, it was perfect because I knew how to draw them. I knew how to make a whole great plate of them to put on my author photo. It honored like it's a family tradition in my home to eat them all the time, year round. So I like having that as my first book. Meet the Latkes, hands down, one of my favorite.
So are you team applesauce or team sour cream?
Oh, oh, you're gonna push that button.
I am.
And this is not because I don't want to commit. I am team apple sour sauce because I I end up, you plop up, sour cream, you put the applesauce, and then I start dipping in like one bite is applesauce, one sour cream, and before I know it, my plate is this white and yellow and pink smear that I just scoop up and love the mixed flavor. What about you? Are you applesauce? Sour
I
cream?
I am team applesauce,
Okay.
but I'm not against sour cream, and I think I have to try that the next
Given
time I make
there's
latkes.
something piquant about it. It's both sweet and tart. I like it.
So, you're in Canada, and
I'm in Montreal.
poutine is a big thing, right?
Is, but I have to tell you, I'm from Boston. I've lived here for 28 years. If you're in Canada listening to this, I have never had poutine. I just don't see it. I can't have French fries with gravy and cheese. It's just not my thing. But in Montreal, we have a very special bagel. The wood-fired Montreal bagel is, I think, world renowned and the best. So this is not an everything bagel, but this is the seeded bagel, which is the most popular. But I love the Montreal bagel.
Okay, so did you get the bagel just because you knew we were talking? Or do you just always have them in your house?
Oh, well, okay. I always have them in my house. I don't always have them by my computer, but I figured if we're gonna be talking about my book, The Bagel Who Wanted Everything, prop is good. And, I went to the store, St. Theaters, which is what my favorite Montreal shop, and gave them a book, and it just so happened the grandson of the owner was there, and he loved the book. So I came back and signed books and, for him and his cousins, and I left the store. They just loaded, you know, pickles and bagels and a coffee cup and a hat. I just left. So we still have bagels everywhere in the hat.
That's lovely though, but
Yeah.
isn't that like the best thing about being an author is giving your book and having someone really, really love it?
It's such a connection. My middle grade novel, Milo, was based on, uh, it's a fictionalized story about I lost my mom when I was little. And it's a funny book. It won humor awards. But when I share that book and a kid connects with it and they come up to me and maybe say, I lost a parent or that made me sad. Thank you for sharing it. Like that's one connection. But when I can connect also with the laughter piece, it's it's just a gift. It's why I do it, I think.
Wow. It's meaningful on all the different levels. But let's talk about the bagel who wanted everything. It is the story of a plain bagel who wanted more out of life.
That is right.
Is this also autobiographical?
Yeah. I mean, the genesis didn't come from I lived my life as a plain bagel, but I've always been somebody who bucks the trends. Like if you tell me I can't do something, I will do it and show you how I can do it 3 different ways. The reason I wrote this book, the was I wanted to kind of create a story for kids where an individual it's fine being plain. Like, I didn't create a book where plain is the bad thing. It's fine to be plain. It's fine to be salt. It's fine to be onion. Whatever you wanna be is great, but you can only be one thing. And in my life as a kid, if someone ever told me that, I would say, "Oh, yeah, I'll show you how many things I can be." And this is that story of a bagel who doesn't, get angry about it, but wants to find other things to be because the world is full of so many wonderful things. Why do I have to be just one? And that's where the genesis of the story goes, is the search for other things, the search to become more, the search to become anything or everything. And it's a nice little fable. I like it a lot. I'm very proud of it.
I love that. Well, I too am an everything bagel because, well, let's see. How many titles do I have?
How many hyphens do you have?
But is that not what life is for? It's exploration and seeing what you love. Or something I say all the time as goal strategist, leader of workshops on goals, author of books on goals. Your life is your choice, right? You decide what you want it to be and make a plan to turn into reality. And there may be so many things out of control in your life, but you have the things that drive you. And when you lean into them, when you
Yeah.
do them, when you enjoy them, it makes everything else so much better.
But you know what's so lovely about what that statement and your goals is you're opening that door for people who hear it or who read it or who attend the workshops. And a lot of times people don't even think that door exists. And it's the idea that it's open and you can in my book, you can peek your head out, you could fully embrace it, or you can stay where you are. It's all fine. But the doors, you open them. And that's the important piece for me. That's what kids' books do. They open the doors, and that's what I like to do.
It's a kid's book, but adults need that lesson all the time.
I think so. Yes.
Is there a Jewish food you have not yet covered in a book? I'm sure there are
Oh,
plenty.
yeah. Oh, there's I can't name it because I don't know what it is, but sure, I haven't done a borscht book. That's more, I don't know if that's Jewish food, but, um, I am doing the next book after The Bagel Who Wanted Everything is The Falafel Who Felt Awful, and that's followed by, Dill is in a Pickle, which is I'm moving away from holidays and into social emotional stuff. So, Falafel Who Felt Awful is a book about expressing your feelings, and Dill is in a Pickle is about negative self-talk. And I'm just happen to be using these Jewish foods as a way into these stories that are really, like heart-based.
What is it, though, about food? I mean, clearly you love it and enjoy this part, but what is it about the people who connect the audience? What makes it so connect withable? I know that's not a word, but I make them up all the
I
time.
like I like that you do that because I do it all the time. I like connectable. I think, food and kids especially, but food stories, when you can anthropomorphize a story about emotions, kids can see themselves any way they want in it. So my books allow kids to enter the story and not identify as the kid, but go, "Oh, I'm kinda like that bagel." And there's something safe about that as opposed to, "Well, I'm like that kid," 'cause then it's a little solid, but there's something kind of mushy about being able to connect with a food and identify with it. Who has a problem or who is funny or who doesn't like to play with others? Like, it's I think that's part of the connection, and you start thinking about eating. You really you think about, "Oh, what if when we finish this book, maybe we can have a snack."
What do adults have to say about these books? I mean, other than me who's just gushing
Well,
uncontrollably.
I have a wonderful parent, network as well as a kid network with reactions to the books. The holiday books have gone over really well with families because it's a funny way I introduce a funny way to look at the Jewish holidays, Passover, Purim, and, Hanukkah. But the parents appreciate that I grew up, and this will date myself, but on Rocky and Bullwinkle, which was a cartoon that had jokes for kids and jokes for parents, and I kind of try to do that in all of my writing. And the parents who I connect with, love the humor, but they love that some of the jokes are for them. And I don't know, I like doing
What advice do you have for people wanting to live an everything bagel life?
that. Can I tell you how much I love the question? That's a cool question. Well, if you're looking to be that everything bagel, follow Deb's advice. The door is there. No, it's true. There are doors open every day in your life. And if there's something missing, poke your head, take a walk into something new, try it on. It doesn't mean you have to keep it on. And I think that's something I struggle with sometimes. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to try something new, but then I'm going to be labeled or stuck that way. And that's not true. My advice is try it. You like it, you don't, but try it.
And what do you put on your everything and or seeded bagel?
Okay. I depends on budget, and day of week. During the week, it's just kind of a butter thing. Like I wake up, butter, maybe a little cucumber. Weekend, I will go full, chive cream cheese, cucumber, tomato, purple onion, and lox. If I can, like if I find it all in the store, I will go the full route. How about you? Do you have a ritual?
Well, I never think of it as weekday bagels and weekend bagels. I do like cream cheese and chives. I do like a good cucumber. I do like some nice lox. So if I'm going full on, if there is a platter,
Yeah,
that's what I'm going for.
yeah. And I
Uh,
will too. The thing about a weekday bagel is I like to keep the specialty of the weekend bagel. So the weekday bagel is just sort of like toast, but it's a bagel. So that's why it's butter.
got it. Final food for thought.
Oh,
Out.
oh, final food for thought. Well, I will say that life is complicated and we're living in kind of some funny times and comfort comes in many different ways. And for me, sometimes it's the food. My wife just showed up right before our interview with our favorite chicken and french fries because she knew I was in a bad mood. I'm not in a bad mood, but I was like, you know, life is hard. Maybe. And, I guess my food for thought is take care of yourself and eat what makes your tummy happy and makes your head feel better, always.
Awesome. Alan, this has been quite a joy.
Me too.
Where can people learn more about you and your books?
My books and myself can be found at Silber, Silber books.com, and I'm on Instagram, and you can find me there. I'm on some of the other ones, but who cares? But my website highlights a lot of all of my books and a lot of my background.
Awesome. So you're excited about the new books. What is your goal for the new year, whether it's the traditional or Jewish?
My goal is to keep pushing um, out of the comfort zone. I'm in a comfort zone of Jewish food right now, and I'm blessed. Like I get to make these funny books. I'm in a great place, but I want to in the new year push myself beyond Jewish food and see what's out there as far as my creative storytelling goes.
See what's out there beyond the Jewish kitchen.
I know there's other things. There must be.
There must be.
Why leave the kitchen? But I want to try.
Awesome. Great plan. Great goal. Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you for tuning into Taste Buds with Dad. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and or your favorite podcast platform. And if you go to jewishjournal.com, you can get the recipes and read the articles that go with each episode. And you can learn more at tastebudswithdeb.com. Until next time, play with your food, enjoy the bagel adventure, and bon appetit.
Bon appetit.